everybody, John here again at Empowered Strength. What I want to talk about now is the Mace 360. So how we get our mace up into the front rack and then how we start actually swinging the mace in a nice 360 motion around our body. So what I'm going to be doing is picking up my mace into this front rack. I'm going to turn, just to kind of standardize it here. We don't have to go to the same side with either hand up, but generally my left hand's going to be down as my kind of go-to, more preferred side, and my right hand's going to be on top. So I'm going to tip to this side. I'm going to point my fingers and I'm going to tip to that direction. So with what we're doing with these tipping or casting the weight, what we're doing is raising up our arms and shoulders here. Elbows go up high, and we're really tipping, pushing the handle up, and then the head's going to fall down. And we're pushing it up a little faster than the mace is falling. We're getting along with that mace, but we're trying to push it down here. So I can show you with this dowel here too. So as we're here, we're really pushing the mace up and out. So we're not just letting it fall out like this and getting these twisted wrists here. My wrists are really staying pretty neutral. I'm light in my grip, and then my body knows to just tense a little bit to help guide that mace out. As I'm going here, you can actually look at the mace. More advanced people don't tend to do that, kind of just disorienting that way, but you can look out and cast it out along the side. So from the side here, I'm pushing the mace out. My hands don't want to be too far in front of me or in too close. I don't want to hit myself here. What a lot of people will do is cast it way out behind them. So as it's coming out here, it has to be kind of weightless momentarily. And then I'm going to let that mace kind of start gravity, start to take over. It's going to float a little bit. And we're going to start to make this transverse turn. So we have this frontal plane, which is in front of us here. And then the transverse is as it's shifting from front to back along this line here. So as it pushes out, I'm going to make that turn naturally. Just a nice transition, that transverse turn there. So I'll show you this in full motion here. So start in my nice front rack position as I pick up that weight again, right into that front rack, loose grip, and then I'm going to push the weight and let that go into my backswing, and then pull down. So it's a tight, relatively tight position. There's a loose kind of float and then a tight again. So I want to relax into that backswing as that comes around my body. Big key piece, and we talk about these pendulum drills behind our body, making sure our shoulders have that range of motion where I'm not throwing my back into it like this. I'm not scrunching up my face. We want those hands to go behind our neck, basically be touching behind our head. It's okay to do some reps and practice and learn. Everybody has to start somewhere. We want to hide those hands behind our head and stay up tall. Make sure we're in a nice tall position. Kind of a slight bend to the knees, but we don't want to go too much here, and we don't want to be overly rigid. There's a nice kind of sweet spot of where that exists with the mace, and you just have to play with that, work with that. It's not quite as much as I like to look at comparables to a kettlebell swing. It's not quite the same thing. We can't completely hard style it or muscle that mace around. We have to kind of get along with it. It has to feel like we say an extension of our body that way. So I'll show you a few more reps. So I can do these 360s and pause. I like to do that generally to start, or I can go all the way through, come back through to here, and just transition right through. So again, some of those key pieces to remember there is to get that nice push out here, keeping the mace close to our midline as it comes over the body, not to scrunch up, not to overly let that mace take me and my momentum with it, but I also want to hold my ground and be fairly firmly rooted to the ground as well with that. And then as it transitions to that backswing, I want to hold my positions, get my hands way behind my head, my elbows are in, I don't want my elbows out here, I don't want too much twisting in my wrists. I want those wrists to just be neutral pretty much the whole time. So I'm not just muscling and twisting the mace like this. And then as it comes over my shoulder here too, that's a key part as I'm pulling that mace down and over back into that front rack. So as it floats out, it's another transverse turn over here. It's floating, and then I'm gonna pull back down into that starting position, that front rack right here. So I'm back here and a nice flow to it as well. So hope that helps. There's the Mace 360. Check out more of our Mace and other video library content.